Okay, one of my very favorite tools is the Eisenhower matrix. We use this to be able to determine what's a priority, and so I wanted to share it with you today. Hopefully you can see my screen. I am just sharing this very basic diagram that I created. The Eisenhower matrix is a tool, as I mentioned, that we use to prioritize and figure out what do we actually need to do and what can we maybe delay, delegate, or ditch. And this was created by Dwight Eisenhower, and he was a military guy, and this is a system that he used. It has since been sort of translated into time management and productivity world. So I'm going to go through and show you how I like to use it. Essentially, do my brain dump, write down everything that's on my mind for whatever period of time I'm considering, whether it's a day, a week, whatever. Okay. Let's say I'm doing it for the day. I do my brain dump for the day, and then everything on my list, I'm going to plot on this matrix, this grid, right? I'm going to say, is it urgent? Is it important? Right? If it's something that's important but not urgent, sorry, if it's something that is important and urgent, it goes in this box. We call this quadrant one. It's the first quadrant. That is something you are going to do. These are your frogs. There probably aren't many things in your day that, if you're being honest with yourself, are urgent and important, that they need to be done within this time frame and they need to be done by you. So anything that does fall into that quadrant one, urgent and important category, you schedule that within your day. Those are your frogs. Anything that's important, but it's not urgent, it doesn't have a deadline of today, it doesn't have to be accomplished today, but it is important, that goes in quadrant two. These are often things that we put off and we do not ever get to because they are never urgent. They never make it into quadrant one. They always stay in this quadrant two zone of being important but not urgent. One thing I see a lot that falls in here is self-care, right? Self-care, learning, things like that. Things that we do for ourselves. It doesn't always have to be that like that, but a lot of times it is. So what we're going to do with these is we're not just going to let them sit here. We're going to delay them, but we are going to schedule them. We're going to find a time on our calendar, on our schedule in the coming day, week, whatever, that we are going to schedule this item so it does get done. Because if you don't schedule it, the things in your quadrant two matrix, never going to get done. You're just going to keep delaying them. So yes, delay them. They don't have to get done today, but you do have to schedule them in somewhere so that you don't forget about them and they actually get done. If something is super urgent and has to get done today, but it's not that important it gets done by you, these are the items in quadrant three that we are going to delegate. You do not have to be the person to do the thing, but it has to get done. That's cool. Rope somebody in. Hire it out. Get a kid to help you. Ask a friend. Get your spouse. Whatever it is, call your mom. It doesn't matter. Figure out a way to give this item to somebody else. This counts at home, this counts at work, this counts for whatever. If it doesn't have to be done by you, but it has to get done today or this week, whatever period of time we're talking about, delegate it. It's really hard to do. You get better with practice. So my challenge for you is to identify at least one thing you can delegate the first time you do this and make sure there's always something in this box because let me tell you, trust me, ask me how I know. This gets easier and easier the more times you do it. Asking for help can even be a form of delegating, okay? You don't have to let go of the entire task, but bring in support, okay? And then if something isn't important that it's done by you and it's not urgent that it get done today, honestly, ditch it. If it's not urgent or important, it probably doesn't belong on your to-do list. There are so many things in our brain dump that just exist. They don't have to be done. They are just things floating around, and that is okay because our brains are busy places, but we don't need to make it more dramatic than it is. These things often ditch them. And if you feel like they are important, but not urgent, and you want to move them up to quadrant two, because we'll sometimes do that, we'll plot things into each grid the first go round, and then we don't feel like our brain wants to trick us. We kind of want to hold on to some of the things, it's hard for us to ditch. So if you find that they do move into that important category all of a sudden, you're not willing to let go of them, that's okay. But make sure you're putting it on the calendar because if it's not in the calendar, it's not going to get done. And if it's not important enough to get done, why keep it in your brain, right? So this is the Eisenhower matrix. It is a super fun tool. I use it all the time. I printed it out, but I also just have it in my mind now, urgent, important, quadrant one, like get familiar with this tool, start to use it and start to see how easy it is to prioritize your three frogs each and every day.